My name's Brent Phelps. I am currently the Chief of Police here in Lenoir, North Carolina. Been with the department for about 27, 28 years. Back in April of 2021, our department was going through the Troysgate experience at their facility. I went through a scenario, and we're going to talk a little bit about that scenario in my experience.
All right, so let's play the video of your experience and you walk us through on what happened.
So I come in, I remember seeing there was two individuals in the room. I could tell they were in conflict with each other. I'm trying to get their attention. I'm trying to see their hands, trying to interact with them from what I can remember during that. The one gentleman reaches for a shotgun. At that point, as I see the shotgun, I go ahead and draw. I have it down to my side, and then very quickly I have to engage. As you can see in the video, I dropped down to my knee. I was not planning on dropping down behind to a knee. I didn't think about that. It just instinctively, in the conflict with the weapon, I assume I was trying to get behind cover. About the time I hit my knee, I did restain or have an injury occur in my leg. I thought I was shot. It was so realistic. I thought that in my brain, I've done Troysgate before. I've not shot in that room in that scenario, but in my brain, I thought somehow there was live rounds in the shotgun and I had been shot because I felt some pain in my leg. And I remember at some point, you can see briefly in the video, I reached with my left hand. I was checking to see if I was bleeding. And then when I got up, I realized I had some pain going on in that leg, and then later ended up having to have some medical attention down the road. But in that moment, my thinking brain realized that I was safe and this was a training exercise. But in that moment, it felt real, and it felt like I had taken a shotgun blast.
I'm Lieutenant Chris Bumgarner. I'm a patrol lieutenant with the Lenoir Police Department. For at least the past 10 years or so, I've been going to Troysgate for training at least once a year, sometimes more. It's great training. It's benefited me in many ways. And probably the experience that I've had that's been the most beneficial was one that I went through about a year ago. While up there for training, I was told that I was going to be responding to a co-worker's home for a domestic violence situation. Once I got there, I found my co-worker sitting in his recliner in the living room, a friend there by his side, dressed in full uniform, with a gun to his head. And so just imagine how emotionally overwhelming this scenario was, to be face to face with somebody that I love and care a lot about, who's got a gun to his head saying that he wants to end his life. During the encounter, I believe that my coworker probably fired the first round. I was really hesitant to fire back at him. I ultimately did. And in that moment, I think time just completely stopped. Everything seemed to freeze for me. And watching the video again, I know that his friend was saying different things to me, but he was irrelevant. Nothing that he was saying to me in that moment I heard. It was just everything stopped. And so at the end of the scenario, I walked out, and the instructor knew that I wasn't okay and asked if I needed to go back in. And so I did, and was able to get closure. My coworker came up to me, and we embraced in a hug, and I had my time to express my emotions and get some closure with that scenario.
Martin Crisp, former Marine, spent 3 deployments in Iraq, spent just short of 10 years in the Marine Corps. My time overseas, did a lot of counter sniper and a lot of Guardian Angel, Overwatch, and a lot of direct action missions as well. What Troysgate offers here from a sniper perspective is it's as realistic as it gets. Through your scope, you're looking at the image of a live human being, and you develop that very intimate relationship between your brain, your emotions as a human, making a decision to take another human's life if need be. What Troysgate offers is as real as that can get without actually killing another human being. You're shooting live ammunition, you're feeling the exact recoil that you would, and you're getting the reaction from the role player. You're getting the reaction of you just shot him. It doesn't get any realer in a training environment than what we have here at Troysgate.
Hey, my name's Rod Sularoo. I'm a retired Master Sergeant. I was at the G8 of the 1st Special Forces Command, and I was on my way back from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I had heard about the Troysgate system. I called Randy Martin and told him I was on my way back. I wasn't in any rush to get back to Fort Bragg. I would like to stop for the afternoon, so on kind of a cold call. He set things up, and I came up here in Lenore, North Carolina, to the shoot houses, the shooting complex that he has up here. What makes the Troysgate system so unique and so important to me is that afternoon that I spent up here, I realized that the several scenarios that we went through, each single scenario felt like I was in a realistic scenario, and the realism went completely through the roof. You use live rounds, you're shooting at a reflection, but the psychological effects, the physiological effects, the ambiguity and getting amped up, all the emotions come through, and with a live action role player. The specific one for me that really set this apart from any other training I've ever done was the last scenario we did was a sniper training. I've had several actual kills with a sniper. I've actually killed people through a scoped optics several times in Iraq and Afghanistan. The scenario that got set up that day is I actually shot into a reflection, but when the live action role player dropped, there was a miss and blood on the wall. And when I got my scope back on there, it just dawned on me, that looks very, very real. Driving back that night, I still had a 2 or 3 hour drive to go back to Fort Bragg. The adrenaline rush that I felt during the training was offset by the down. That's the high. The low is I'm driving down the road and my hands start shaking, and my mind is telling me, hey, you've actually killed somebody that day.
I'm passionate about saving these lives of these officers, period. That's why I live for it. So for us to actually help save the life of an officer or the life of a citizen, then we have really done something really great for society, period.